Hello. Hello, everybody. Sorry, I'm just trying to pull this up on my phone because I have to go about this a weird way. Uh, so if you'll just give me a moment, because the reason I'm not too late. I'm 20 minutes late, but I was really messing with a lot of shit. Uh, so I apologize for that. But look at this. Look at these visuals. You can see my little mousey. I think. Can you guys see my little mousey on Naruto's face, or can you not? Oh, the little mouse doesn't pop up? That's kind of sick, actually. Hold on. How do I sound? Hold on. Let me check this real quick. Like, eh. Well, of course I couldn't fucking hear myself. Okay, yeah, I sound pretty good. All right, so everybody, welcome to the Naruto review, the first of its kind, the Naruto review. Um, I hope everybody's doing well. Today we have a little slideshow as our background. I made a little slideshow. I took a little bit to find some pictures, and some of them don't look the greatest because it's a show from the early 2000s, and some of the pictures are a little less than stellar. But I want to get right off the bat that there will be spoilers for the first two, three arcs. Like, I don't know if it's two or three because Prologue and Land of Waters or Land of Waves is always put in the same category. Um, but we're just today these streams, especially shows like this where it's like I had to watch 67 episodes worth of television. It's gonna be a lot less structured. Um, and it's definitely gonna be a little scuffed. But I think that's gonna be fun. I kind of just want to sit here and chat, because I keep talking about it on stream, and I feel like I might as well. I wrote quite a few notes. Um, so if you guys want to just sit back with your fucking popcorn and listen to me bitch about Naruto for, I don't know how long we're gonna go, but we'll go. Um, yeah. All right, let's get started. So I guess I should start with what Naruto is about. So Naruto is a popular manga slash anime. Uh, the show started in the early 2000s, so I can only imagine that the manga started in the late 90s. So you already kind of, like, if you watch anime, you're already like, okay, I get the vibe of this show. You know what I mean? You know what that feels like, and honestly, it's like prime example number one of what it's supposed to feel like, that kind of television. Um, hold on. I'm destroying my body even more and drinking more Monster. Because I knew we had this review. And again, I slept like shit. So, um, Naruto is about a boy who is an orphan. And he is a less than stellar. He wants to be a ninja, but more he wants to be the Hokage. Wait, does this only loop once? Or does it keep looping? Oh, my thing wasn't caught up. Well, good thing you guys kept seeing it, because for some reason my screen froze on one image. That was strange. Um, but he finally passes his ninja exam to become a ninja, and he has a very and I just got watching this. It has to make me admit that shonen anime is just my favorite fucking shit because it's all the same, and I love it every time. So let's just go through all my big three at least. So we've got One Piece, Dragon Ball, and then I guess now Naruto, right? Dragon Ball. What is Goku's number one goal? He wants to be the strongest there is. That's his goal, right? One Piece. What's Luffy's goal? He wants to be the king of pirates. He wants to be the best of the pirates. So the strongest that there is. And Naruto wants to be the Hokage, which means he wants to be one of the greatest leaders that the world could ever have. And he also claims that he's going to be the best one there's ever been. So I it's so cheesy. And that's like the main theme of this show is like dramatic and cheesy. It feels like a soap opera, this whole thing. But we'll get more into that in a bit. But I truly do understand why a lot of people consider this show to be like the greatest fucking thing to ever exist ever. I really like it. I'll just get that out of the way. I really like it. But I will say there is a lot of issues with it. There's like a lot of issues with it. And we'll get into those. But that's basically my prologue of how I feel about this show as a whole. It feels very... I feel like once you watch it, it's just like... Especially if you grew up around that time period. I never watched it as a kid. But I get nostalgic for the way it feels. It feels very good. But also some of its badness is really bad. So I guess we can just talk about the show. So basically, Naruto, he becomes a ninja, like I said, after his third time of failing. And he then becomes a part of this group called Team 7, I believe they're called, where he is led by their leader, Kakashi, who is Naruto's sexy boy of the decade. He's like the most thirst after fucking character I've ever seen. There he is right there. If you look at this picture, Kakashi is the one who's patting them on the heads. So if you look at that picture, actually, that's Kakashi on the top, Naruto on the right, Sakura in the middle, and then Sasuke on the left. That is helpful. That's really helpful, actually. This was a good idea. But Kakashi is I'm going to pronounce it incorrectly because I'm watching this in the sub, which is hard for me. I've never committed to something. Like, I've watched a lot of One Piece, but I've never watched so much of a show in one succession where it's like I've been consuming so many subtitles in my life, like between like Dragon and Yakuza and this. It's a lot. I'm reading a lot constantly. But which is a good thing. But it's a good sub. I like the voices in the show quite a bit. But yeah, I'm gonna pronounce this wrong. Shinsa. Fuck. Let me look it up. Let me look it up before I fucking try to say this and sound like a goddamn fool. Oh god. Kakashi's power. Sharingan. The Sharingan, I believe is how it's pronounced. But basically he can copy other people's abilities just by seeing it once with his eyes. And Sasuke later is like I said, we were gonna. This is spoilers. I want people to know. We're just gonna absentmindedly keep talking until I run out of things, and I'm going to remember things out of order, but I'm going to talk about them all. I'll try to preface which arc they're in, but this is in I believe it's in the first arc. Well, the Land of Waves, if is the first arc, but it's revealed that he also has the Sharingan power. and can see other people's moves. But it's kind of cool. Um, it feels like cheating. I mean, I guess they're constantly supposed to be cheating as ninjas because like, and this is one of my favorite things is that like subterfuge and like being sneaky is like a big part to these fights, and it makes them always feel interesting. I mean, there's other reasons that the fights feel interesting that I'll talk about because I have a huge section about the fights. Um, but it's always cool, but with the Sharingan, you're kind of like, okay, they're just taking what we've already seen and making it slightly better. I wish there was a little bit, and maybe there will be later, but I wish there was a little bit more uniqueness to the Sharingan stuff, because it's just like whatever. Okay, I still do like it though. But I'm gonna be fair, and I'm gonna give criticisms where I think criticisms are due, because it's my opinion. Damn it. So yeah, and then we have Sasuke, who's edgy teen lord. That's another thing. This like it. Even kids nowadays still really like it because it's just like, oh my god, they're like killing each other. Oh my god, it's like dark in a like emo kind of way. There's so much talking. I know there's a lot of talking in animes and manga, but holy shit, I don't feel like I've ever watched something with so much talking. Like I thought Dragon Ball throughout all my life I was like told and heard people be like, "Oh yeah, there's just so much talking in between the fights." And watching it, it's like, yeah, of course there's fucking talking in between the fights. There is in every goddamn anime that ever has existed. I would love to see what it would be like to see an anime without that aspect to it, but uh it's so ridiculous. Um but then you have Sakura, who's boy crazy, and she's gotten a little bit more, but like sadly all of the shit with her sucks. She's definitely the worst team member, and that sucks because I do like her, but she just has like the least interesting shit going. It's like that whole fucking. So this is in the Chunin exams. The way the Chunin exams work, which this is skipping forward. So this is basically Naruto and Ko going and trying to become a higher form of ninja, like in a ranking system by winning this exam, but only one of them can win. So it's like his team, but they're not on a team. But her whole thing is she's fighting. I believe her name's Ito, who is another girl, who Sakura was friends with, and Ito is the one on the far left in this picture. Good thing I have that picture. Yeah, but her and Sakura fight, and I shit you not, the backstories are literally like 4 episodes worth of backstory of just the same thing over and over, where it's like they were friends and then they had a downfall because they went a little boy crazy. It's like, oh my fucking god. And then they like in their fight, when they're fighting, they knock each other out, and you're like, oh my fucking. And it's like, it's unique because it's a tie, which is interesting to see, but the circumstances surrounding the tie, you're like, oh Jesus Christ, can this like be over right now? But yeah, okay, so I've talked about the main 4. That's basically, that's a good place to stop with like describing characters. If important characters show up later, I will make sure to talk about them, but hold on. Is there a picture of Gaara? Maybe I should talk about Rock Lee and Gaara, because they're like the other two that are kind of really important. So in the Chunin arcs, it's the way it works is they take the top newest ninjas and they give them like a fight in this is the fight to become the next form of ninja, but it's also used as like a coup in order, or not like a coup, but it's like a secret little thing to see how powerful each nation is, because there's 5 nations. There's like, I can't remember, but there's like the sand or rock one. I think it's Sand Village. And then there's like Leaf Village, which is where Naruto and friends are from. There's Wind Village, I think. There's Wawa Village? Water? I'm not sure. Did the Gaara picture get taken away? Why did the Gaara picture not show up? Gaara's pretty fucking important to not have a picture of. I really thought I put it in. Damn it. Fuck. All right. But, yeah, Rock Lee is from the... Oh, God, he's from... I don't remember where he's from. He's from the Rock Village? Or Stone or whatever? The Mountain Village? Something like that. And then Gaara's from the Sand Village. Because he used sand. And they're important just because they're like major characters that just like are supporting roles. Like Gaara's a villain, but he's pretty fucking important. Yeah. Okay. Let's see what I got in my notes here. Oh yes. So this is one of my 2 biggest criticisms. So we'll do this. We'll do one of our big criticisms right now. I basically, and until this most recent arc, which would be intro number 3 or 4, I think it's 3, but every single intro and outro except for that one has fucking sucked. No good. I hate them. I would skip them every time. I gave them both so many chances. I would sit there and try to listen. I couldn't do it. But the third one's pretty fucking good. At first, even on Twitter, I was kind of like, holy shit, this music sucks. But I didn't get to the third one. And it's called like Little by Little or One More Time or something like that. But it's very good. And I like that a lot. Okay. And also, okay, yeah, let me see what I wrote. The music in the show started pretty meh, but it started growing on me. They started introducing way better themes as time went on. And my example was a song. I looked it up because I actually like the song. But it plays a couple times, but it was specifically, it was like a, what's the term? Like a theme, a battle theme? Yeah, theme. And it's there a few times, but the part I specifically noticed it in is the fight with Neji and Naruto, Uzumaki Naruto. But I really picked it up, and it's called Strong and Strike. And I wrote very, I think it was light. I don't remember. I can't remember if they were light or heavy. But I think they were light drums, or a little heavy actually. There was very plucky strings in it. One of the things that the show does is they have like boner rock jams. Like the first intro is so, it's like it's so cheese. It's so ridiculously cheese that it's bad. But it's like the music a lot of the time is like goofy fucking bullshit, and it's like, but this one it was like actually sounded like something you would hear a ninja fight to. It had like very plucky I think it was like one of those little 3-string guitars they have in. I can't remember. Like, it's not a keytar, is it? I'm not sure what it's called. Um, but the one with 3 little notes. It sounded like that. I'm not sure if it was though. And there's like chanting in the back. It was very good. It's a very good song. I like that one a lot. Um, so yeah, I guess we could just get to this is, I guess, and we can do this now. And then we'll get maybe into our second big problem that kind of resolves itself, at least for right now. But I talked about that the show is and I've already said it, but it's quite literally one of the most dramatic things I think I've ever watched. It I wrote an example, and I'll explain, and I kept having to go with this fucking example. Like, this is a page and a half worth of an example because of how detailed I wanted to be, because I felt like it encapsulates what works so well about this show. This specific scene, I really liked it. It was both a fight scene and just a overall fucking masterful scene. But I guess let's talk a little bit more about Naruto and his framing as a character and the way the show works. So Naruto and Ko's first ever job they get before they do the Chunin exams, and this is the Land of Waves stuff, is that they, I guess these are 2 impactful moments. I'll talk about one and then I'll talk about the other. But in the Land of Waves, they are tasked with what they think is a C rank mission, which they get missions and they're ranked from A to C or D. So they were doing a bunch of D rank missions, like saving cats and shit. But they get their first C ranked mission, but it turns out it ends up being an A ranked mission because this guy's trying to build a bridge so that his like nation basically can have a way to transport goods and stuff more efficiently. And a big basically oil baron, I can't remember his name, but he's goofy as hell. He's like, no, and he hires what's his name? I have it written down. Zabuza and Haku, which I know they're very well loved characters. So, but I really also like their characters at first. So as I was watching this show, I was like, man, I really don't like this at first. Because this is like not the biggest concern, but I really don't like it when it happens. All of the perversion jokes. And it's not, I don't know. I just never think jokes like that are funny usually. Especially in this show where it's like Naruto is like 14 years old and he's turning himself into what is supposed to be a sexy woman. It's like, that's not funny. It's really weird, and I don't like it. Especially when he meets his second trainer before he trains for the Chunin exams. That guy, I hate him. He trained Naruto to summon a giant frog, which is something Naruto can do now because he can hook into the power of the Nine-Tailed Fox, and I need to explain what the Nine-Tailed Fox is, because that's a huge part and I didn't even talk about it. The Nine-Tailed Fox is a big monster that the third Hokage trapped into Naruto as a baby, and that's why no one likes him, because all of the villagers are scared of him because he fucking almost destroyed their village, like the spirit within him. But the guy, the pervert, he literally calls him Perv Teacher or whatever. That's literally what his nickname is in the show. But he teaches him to summon a frog because he unlocks the power of the Nine-Tailed Fox, which is cool. The Nine-Tailed Fox is pretty cool. Let's see. Yeah, so this is the other example. Okay, so But basically, going back to when they're trying to help the bridge builder, um, they meet Haku and Zibuza or Zabuza, and they have. I'm glad. I always get weirded out, especially in shows like this where it's like they do. Um, it's like I really thought they were gonna make their relationship weird, but I'm glad they didn't, and it was just like a basically like a father son relationship type thing. Um, Also, I'd like to say this show is strangely progressive sometimes, and I feel like that's more on probably the writing of the manga, maybe, or maybe they, I don't know. But it's like they are like Haku's a boy, but he looks like a girl, and the characters acknowledge it that he looks like a girl. Like Naruto, when he first meets him, literally thinks he's a girl, and at one point even says, "Damn, that guy's hotter than Sakura," which Sakura he's in love with. You know what I mean? For him to say that, it's pretty cool. Also, there's the whole thing where Sasuke's first kiss is Naruto by accident, and it's like, yeah, they play it like, ew, it's gross, but it's like the fact that they make a point to show that it's his first kiss ever. You're like, what are you trying to say to me right now? um, but yeah, they meet. Oh yeah, and then like I said, Haku, it's like it is fine with being like he tells them he's a boy, but he's like completely fine. He's not immediately like, "Oh my god, you think I'm a girl?" Ew. It's like he's just like, "No, I'm a guy." He doesn't even tell them at first. He like lets them compliment them as a girl. So it's kind of cute. Um but basically these two were hired to stop the bridge builder, but it becomes this thing where it's like this story about how Zabuza only sees Haku as a tool, even though Haku has dedicated his whole life to like making sure this guy is okay and that his dreams are fulfilled. Um Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. What the fuck? Did the title not change? No way. That's such bullshit. Okay, hold on. I didn't even realize that. I changed it, so I don't know why it didn't change. Oh my god, no! We've been going for so long. Sorry, just hold on a moment. This is the problem with having a live series. I swear to God, I wrote it down. I don't know what. Why? And then let me change the category to just chatting. Bada boom, bada bing. There we go. Finally, I fixed it. Okay, we're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. Um, but what was I saying? Where were we? Oh yeah, we were talking about Zabuza and Haku. But basically, they both die, right? And the whole thing is he ends up Zabuza admitting that he's not a tool. You know what I mean? He wants to go to heaven so that they can have more time to spend together because he sees him as a son, basically, I guess. Why is this not working? Why is it not changing? Did it not change? No, it did save. Why is it? I don't know what's happening anymore. Okay, let's just get back to it. But yeah, it's a very impactful moment because it shows us that characters can change throughout the course of the show, and it's very impressive. And it's just it is very sweet. I don't think it's like cry your eyes out sad. But I think it's very impactful and it works. And I think it helps to build 2 moments later that I'm going to talk about. So right now we're going to move from that to the Chunin exams. And we're going to talk about my second example of what makes this show very good. And how dramatic and ridiculous it is. All right. So, Neji and Naruto just fought. Naruto wins because he uses a move called Clone Jutsu. I think it's Shadow Clone Jutsu. And he makes himself appear somewhere else. He fucking burrows in the ground like a goddamn gopher and pops out and punches this motherfucker so hard that he loses the battle. But basically, he's laying on the ground. So I wrote, Neji stares at a fucking bird flying towards the sun after Naruto epically bursts out of the ground and defeats him. Then, Naruto reveals that the move he tricked him with, the Shadow Clone Jutsu, was his... And we knew this because he says it, and it's why he failed the first few times at his original exams. It was his worst move. He couldn't fucking do it. So he like reveals to Neji this while he's like laying on. He's like, it was my worst. He's like rubbing it in. He's like, it was my worst move. And the whole fight, Neji's like, oh, you want to be the fucking what are they called? The not a shonen, Hokage. You want to be the Hokage? Well, you're not destined to be the Hokage. Only certain people have destiny, and everything's about destiny. And Naruto's like, I make my own destiny, and he fucking flips his hair and shit. And he defeats him, and revealing this knowledge, Neji's then, carried off in a stretcher, and he's brewing on this shit. And it's then revealed to him, so he gets moved off. Naruto stays behind, and everybody starts fucking cheering for him. The same audience who listened to them argue about fucking destiny for 30 goddamn minutes in the middle of a fight. And Naruto's running around, and it's like the first moment. It's like nothing else matters for him. It doesn't matter what the next fight is. It doesn't matter. And it felt really good. Like, as a viewer, too, you were like, oh, this actually fucking really matters. Because he's, like, running around. All you hear is these people cheering for him. And you're like, this matters. This is important. This is the first time. Because his, like, catchphrase is, don't underestimate me. Because people have been doing that to him his whole life, right? So he says, don't underestimate me to, like, every opponent who, like, laughs at him and fucking makes fun of him. So this is like the first time people are acknowledging him for a true hero. And it's very like with the bridge builder, he kind of leaves and he doesn't even know that they named the bridge after him which they do. The finished bridge. But it's very emotional. But anyway, back to the whole Neji fight. Neji then learns the truth of how his dad died, which it was some stupid shit, which honestly, and this is another problem with the show, there's so much over information given to you that I don't think I would ever be able to do like a full, like, this is what happened, this is what happened, this is like, I have to do this shit where it's like I jump around because there's so much information that's given to you and it's repeated over and over. So your brain literally will like struggle to figure out what's like important for you to remember later on. Um, but yeah, he learns the truth about his dad dies, and then he stares at some more birds, and he does say something very prolific, and I really like it. He's like, hey, he's just talking it into the air like to his dad. He's like, hey, Dad, I've been seeing a lot of birds flying around lately, and they look happy. And it's like this completely, like his worldview, on how he thinks about things like destiny and stuff like that. It's almost completely shattered by Naruto. The way he thinks, because he has like a kind of sister. She's not really his sister, but they're in like the same clan. And her name's Hinata, and she has a huge crush on Naruto, which he's starting to acknowledge, which is nice because I like the idea of them a lot better together than him and Sakura. But I guess we'll see. I have no fucking clue. I'm completely blind to all of this. I've never watched, like I said, watched this. The only time I can remember is I went to go stay with my cousins for a week in the summer when I was like, I want to say 14, 13 maybe. And I know I for sure, I do remember this clear as day. We watched some random fucking like episode fucking 300 of something of Naruto or something like that. And it was like, I want to get to I want to try to remember what that was. I want to see, what that was personally. Because I do not remember, and I really do hope I can remember, but hold on, there's a light on, like, shining through the window on my wall that looks like a pea. It looks exactly like that's weird. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, okay, we can talk about some fights because then this will also help me remember some stuff. All fights, and I wrote on an aside, I wrote when something is happening, and what I mean by that is sometimes when they're arguing, it's like compelling and it drives the plot forward and stuff. I'm like, okay, yeah. Got it. Naruto's getting called a bitch, and that he'll never be Hokage. He's gonna say some shit back. You know what I mean? This is his only thing he like really, really, really fucking cares about. I mean, he cares about his friends because all of these shows are about fucking friendship and how much you care about your friends. But like sometimes it's just boring. Like I said, with that Sakura and Ito, don't need it. I need one scene of it and then I get it. I don't need 4 episodes worth of information stuffed down my throat about what the fuck Sakura and Ito did 19 different times. I just don't. But all the fights are, I said they range from either cool to radical. And what I mean by this is there's basically no bad fights, I don't think, so far. There's been like the whole thing with them trying to get the bells from Kakashi to see if he'll train them and stuff like that. It's like that was cool. That was like the first time they worked as a team in order to actually get to know Kakashi and stuff. And now he like really cares about them and stuff. And then here's my examples of some of the most radical fights. So, final exam Chunin battles. Yeah, so all the final battles in the Chunin exam, like the final ones specifically. So there's the first round, which is a written test, which was fucking stupid and boring. It was like funny a little bit, and it was like interesting. It was like, oh, you have to cheat, and you have to not get caught cheating. It's like, that's cool. But it was like 3 episodes long, and it didn't need to be. And then, what was the second phase? The second phase was like, oh yeah, scrolls. You had to steal scrolls from a team, and those fights were good. That's when you get introduced to, I think his name is Onamaharu. I could be completely wrong, but he's the snake guy, who's clearly very important, because of the way that the finale of these arcs is. But his fight where he fucking like becomes a Junji Ito villain and fucking stretches out his neck and bites Sasuke on the neck and gives him a fucking curse. It's like, that shit's cool. Yeah, Sasuke's cursed, by the way. He gets cursed later on. And he gets like fucking black tattoos all over his body. But Naruto kind of also has a thing like that when the nine-tailed fox stuff gets a little bit too out of control. So, oh yeah, so one specifically that I wrote, and we already talked about the Haku and Zabuza fight. I mean, that one's just really good. I mean, you can see it right here, actually, in this picture. There's like the ice mirror thing. I think it's not the greatest fight, but I think it's enhanced because of the emotional moments you get out of it. Because compared to the fucking Rock Lee versus Gaara fight in the preliminaries before the final exam, that shit fucking slapped. That was one of the greatest fucking fights I've seen so far. Rock Lee fucking taking off his weights and them crashing down and creating a huge fucking explosion of concrete because of how heavy they are. Gaara being revealed to have some kind of, or no, that's later on. That's him versus Sasuke, but I'll talk about that one after then. But basically, he fucking cripples Rock Lee. He like completely crushes his leg and arm, which is pretty fucked up. And just Rock Lee, like channels his inner. So Rock Lee's cool because, and it's like, oh, he's funny. He's got hair, funny. He's got big eyebrows, funny. He has a instructor who he looks exactly like, who also is actually funny. But he lives. He's kind of a unique character because of how he fights. Where it's in this world where, you know, Naruto's using his chakra is the energy they use to fight and shit. He's using it to create like diversions and fucking pull things out of thin air and shit like that. But Rock Lee is all about fighting and being fast. So basically, he's just like fucking so fast you can't even see him move. And he punches you. Like he really gets close to defeating Gaara in the fight. He doesn't, but because Gaara fucking does that shit with his leg and arm. But I think that they are. I like I said, I just get why everybody likes these characters. I completely understand why all these characters are so beloved. It's like Gaara's whole thing is he's crazy. I think he's okay. He's one of my least favorites because he's just like, he's too crazy for me. You know what I mean? Like he's just too. He's like talking to his mother while he's like in his head. It's like, it's too much. And he's like, oh, I lust for blood. I want to kill. It's like, okay, I get it. but he's not terrible. It's not like I hate him or anything, but compared to like Rock Lee or Naruto, I like Naruto a lot because he's not your typical like shonen. Like at first he was like a little pussy, which is kind of unique because like stuff with Dragon Ball, it's like Goku's so stupid that he can't help but be strong, and then in One Piece, Luffy's so headstrong that he can't help but be strong. But in this, it's like Naruto actually has some faults where it's like he wimps out a couple times and shit, and stuff. I really like that. Sasuke's just kind of an edgelord too, but he's not anywhere near as bad as Gaara. Kakashi's really good, and like I said, Sakura's, I want her to be good, but sadly she's just written so fucking terribly. But yeah, so going back to the fights though, one of the things that, and I think this is what makes these fights very memorable, is they're constantly like hyping it up in various ways, constantly throughout the fight. One of these forms of ways of doing it is they'll have characters look at two characters fighting, and one of them will say verbatim, "The outcome of this match has already been determined." And you're like, oh, fuck, what do you mean? Like, you think, and then usually they'll be referring to a specific character being like, that guy's gonna win, that guy's gonna win. And then it's like you, as the viewer, have your biases and your likes and dislikes of various characters. So it's like, depending on who's your favorite characters, you're gonna want them to win. So when they do win and you're getting filled with this hype and you're like, okay, who's going to win? It's like, it's one of two things. It's either the most fucking crushing thing because your character loses and you're like, oh my fucking, oh God, like you're rubbing your head, your fucking tummy starts to feel sick. You're like, oh my God, oh, why couldn't you win? Or they win and you go, oh my, oh yes, oh holy shit, yes. You're like fucking hype. You're fucking pulling your shirt off and whipping it around in the air. It's crazy. You're just having a great time. But yeah, I guess we can talk about my second biggest criticism is like the pacing of, and this is how it's edited. So at least in the early episodes, honestly, later on, it hasn't really been doing it at all, which I'm thankful for. But we were recapping the last 30 minutes of the fight in the last episode with the first like 5 minutes of this episode. It's like, why do I even watch the episode beforehand if you're just going to tell me exactly everything that happened in this episode as well? Another thing is we've already had one episode that's like a clip episode where it's like reintroducing the characters. I skipped over that episode. I've never skipped an episode of anime, I don't think. I watched the first, the episodes are only like 23 minutes episode, like per episode. I watched like the first 6 or 7 minutes and I was like, no, can't do it. I can't do this. I can't be retold what I already fucking know again. One thing, so like I said, they over explain a lot. There is one thing though that they talked about once and it kind of keeps coming up, but I want it to be explained a little bit better. I want to know how the Hokages work better. Because there's Lord Hokage, who is like the one who's always there, who like talks to Naruto and shit. And then there's there's like 5 of them, but I don't know if they're all of equal power or if him being called Lord Hokage means he's higher. Like, I have no clue how that works. Also, I get it that they keep it kind of elusive, like they don't talk about it, so that they can have this fucking twist, which is a great twist, at the end of the Chunin exams, which basically, and I guess we can talk about this because we've basically talked about major plot points that really matter right now. Um, but basically, so we're in the final exams, and it's Sasuke versus Gaara because they won their preliminary matches. Obviously Gaara with Rock Lee, and then Sasuke fought. Who did he fight? I can't remember. But basically, Sasuke and Gaara are fighting, and this whole time they keep showing you like the guards that are there, and that something is up with the Sand Village contestants. That they keep talking about some kind of ploy, like plan, and they're fighting, and then all of a sudden one of the Sand Village kids is like, "When's Gaara gonna throw out the signal?" And then all of a sudden he turns into a big monster, like inside of a fucking egg. And they don't show it very up close, but they show its like arm, and it looks kind of gross. And what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I don't know if that's supposed to be the signal, but basically after that they knock out everybody that's at the exam, which is like it's like a crowd of people and every contestant. But it knocks out a fair majority of them, not like the major ones, but it's revealed that there's another Hokage, and he's there with Lord Hokage, like watching the exams, and it's so obvious that he's the snake guy because his whole face is covered, and literally he has the little slit eyes like snakes do every single time he disguises himself. It's like it's so obvious when it's him. And basically he reveals that it's him, and he takes the Hokage prisoner, like a hostage or whatever, and that's kind of how it ends, which is so crazy that because they kind of just like completely like stop an arc to just immediately go into another one like mid action. It's kind of really cool. It's like a big dramatic change. I did watch a couple episodes after, so I'm trying to not say any more in case it is from later episodes, because I do want to only just stick to these arcs specifically. But yeah, I think that's really all I have to say about Naruto. I mean, I like a lot of the side characters. I don't like the plots with them, but I like the whole Hokage's grandson thing where it's like he wants to also be the Hokage, so he's like rivals with Naruto, and I do like that aspect. But they have his little friends with him, and they make them say really weird stuff, and I'm not a fan of that. But yeah, I guess if I had to give the show a rating for what I've watched for these well, I could rank the arcs so far. I mean, it's I'm just gonna say it's technically two. I guess the Chunin exams is slightly better, but it's just that written exam part is so boring. It's like the first third of it, and then like the stuff in the forest is a little boring at first, and then it gets interesting. Like by the end of it, you're kind of into it, and then the final exams are where it's like really you're like, whew, like invested, because it's like that stupid shit where it's like Sasuke has been like fucking secretly training for the whole month until the Chunin exam, so he's like running extremely late, and he gets there at like the last millisecond before he's gonna be told he can't fight and shit, and they're like, "Oh, sorry, were we late?" It's like he's got his new outfit, which you can see in this picture here. Instead of having his like blue hoodie, he has like a black shirt with like a very high neck on it. Um, and yeah, it's just got very good moments, and I'm very excited to see where it's gonna go because I do like the snake guy. I think his name's Onimaharu, or yeah, Onimaharu or something like that. I'm pretty sure. If I'm wrong, I'll correct myself next time because I feel like he's obviously going to be in the next couple episodes at least. But basically, I will keep doing these. I don't know how long these arcs are gonna start getting because I mean, Chunin exam was 40 episodes in itself. And what, this is me doing almost 70 episodes, so I'll probably see you in another 70. So it might be a couple weeks, but once I'm past a point, I will stop and just go like, okay, we're doing this. But yeah, I really do like it. I don't know what I give it for a rating though. If I gave it as a whole right now, I feel like I haven't seen enough because it's like, let's think about it, right? Okay. So let's say you're watching a 2-hour movie, or no. So there's like 600 episodes to this, and I haven't even watched 100 yet. So I haven't even watched a 6. But let's just round it up to a 6, right? If I had watched a 6 of a movie, so if I watch, so that would be 20 minutes. 20 minutes of a 2-hour movie. I don't think. I'd say you'd have. If you like really, really dislike it, like if it's offensive to your fucking senses, then yeah, you can just say, fuck it, I'm not watching this anymore. But if there's nothing like that, then I feel like you can't with the first 20 minutes. But if it's egregiously, you're like, I'm fucking bored of this, or just this sucks. And I've been looking at my phone this whole time because it started and I just fucking went to snooze town. But I haven't gone to snooze town. I kind of, like I said, it's so much over information, so it gets a little frustrating with exactly how that works. But I think it's pretty good. I am hoping it gets even better. They've stopped doing that recapping thing for the first 5 minutes, at least for right now. They will kind of talk about what is happening, but they won't like show the first 5 minutes being a recap or anything, which is nice. But yeah, I think that's gonna wrap it up. I do appreciate everybody for being here. I hope you had a good time, and I will see you when I next see you. The schedule and stuff should be coming out, and I will start. I mean, this is our second review since we've been back, so I will try to keep up with them, like I said. So I hope you have a good rest of your day, and I will see you when I next see you. Bye-bye.